On a quiet Thursday evening, after 20 years of marriage, my 41-year-old wife, Emily, the stunning mother of our two daughters, and the woman I'd devoted my life to, dropped a shocking revelation. Over dinner, she calmly announced that she'd be going out with a co-worker the following night. Emily and I had fallen in love as teenagers, our romance a whirlwind from the start. Within a year of meeting, she was expecting our first child. We were head over heels, and despite the challenges, we exchanged vows. 7 months later, our daughter Sophia arrived. Our marriage always felt anchored in love, and with our two incredible daughters, who cherished us both, I thought we'd built an unshakable foundation. I'd poured my heart into growing my landscaping company from nothing into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, giving us a life of comfort and admiration. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect Emily to say something like this. Her words struck me like a blow to the chest. I sat there, frozen, clutching a glass of whiskey, as she explained how she'd been battling depression and dissatisfaction since the girls left for college. To me, our life had seemed almost flawless, so her admission felt like a knife in the back. She confessed that Nathan, a colleague from the accounting department, had become her confidant during her struggles, a revelation that blindsided me. Emily had never hinted of being unhappy, let alone depressed. It hurt deeply to know she'd shared her emotions with another man. But what truly shattered me was hearing she wanted to go out with him. That was more than I could bear. To make matters worse, Nathan wasn't just any coworker. He was a married man with 3 young daughters, posing as a supportive listener while preying on vulnerable married women. He sought out those who felt isolated, knowing they were easy to sway. Emily's tone was detached and unapologetic as she said, "James, I had to be upfront with you. I can't keep this hidden anymore. I need to do this for myself. It might seem selfish," she went on, "but I need one evening to explore where this leads." Rage surged within me, every fiber of my being ready to erupt, but I knew Emily too well. Once she'd made up her mind, arguing was futile. I stared at her in silence as she fidgeted nervously on the sofa. The tension between us was stifling. I downed my drink, rose, and left the room without a word. She followed, pleading, "James, don't shut me out. Stop brooding. This is happening, and I wanted to tell you first. I'd never betray you secretly," she insisted. I had to be honest. We've always been open with each other. I turned to face her, and something in my expression made her shrink back, curling into the couch. Without a response, I headed to our bedroom, packed a small bag with clothes and essentials, and walked out. As I made my way to the garage, she trailed behind, still begging, "Please, James, don't leave. It's just one night, one day after 20 years. You can't give me that." I shook my head in disbelief, got into my car, and drove off. That night, I checked into the Ritz-Carlton. At $100 a night, it wasn't cheap, but if I had to endure this pain, I'd do it in luxury. Emily's calls and texts flooded my phone, but I sent a single reply, "Betrayal," before blocking her number. I told her I'd be unreachable until Saturday. This was her betrayal, and she'd have to face the consequences. The next morning, I went to work and instructed my assistant to block all calls from Emily. I also told security to keep her out. My plan was in motion, and I wasn't about to let her interfere. For years, I'd been the dependable one, steady at work, with friends. At home, I'd been the laid-back husband, always keeping my temper in check. I thought treating Emily like a queen was the secret to a happy marriage. But now, staring at the ruins of our life, I saw my mistake. An old saying I used to find amusing now rang painfully true. Treat her like a queen, and she'll treat you like a servant. Those words felt like a bitter prophecy. I wasn't ready to accept this as my new reality. That morning, I called my brother, a detective in Miami, and explained everything. I asked for his help, and he immediately reached out to Michael Carter, a private investigator. "Michael," my brother said, "I need a favor. Tell my wife tonight and get me everything on this guy by Saturday morning. His address, phone number, and any photos of them together." Michael agreed without hesitation. By the time Emily and Nathan sat down for dinner that evening, I'd already set my next step in motion. I planned to visit Nathan's wife and reveal exactly what her husband was doing and with whom. Before that, I made another call to an old friend, Lucas. Lucas had gone through a messy divorce and had dealt with it in an unusual way. He turned to an escort service for companionship. Though I'd never thought about it before, Lucas's reasoning now felt strangely compelling. "It's less complicated and costs less than dealing with a disloyal spouse," he'd told me. I contacted the service and booked an evening with a charming brunette. I included a $1,000 tip, requesting a girlfriend experience where she'd act like a devoted, long-term partner. There wasn't a path I ever imagined taking, but given the circumstances, I was ready to play by my own rules. I stressed that secrecy was paramount. If Emily appeared out of nowhere, the escort was to pretend we'd only just met that evening. In my mind, if Emily could go out with another man, she needed to be ready to see me doing the same, though I planned to handle it with more dignity. The arrangement was straightforward. Meet at a hotel, share some drinks, and enjoy light, effortless conversation before the night progressed. Meanwhile, Emily was occupied with her real estate business, running an open house that Saturday, as she did most weekends. She rarely returned home before 6 p.m., and this weekend would be no exception. Flashback to Thursday night. After Emily revealed her plans for independence, she sat alone on the sofa, fuming, muttering to herself, "I can't believe he acted like such a baby," storming off without a word. What a jerk. Frustrated by my silence, she kept dialing and texting, her irritation growing with each unanswered message. The only reply she got was one word: betrayal. That word briefly stopped her, a fleeting pang of guilt, before she dismissed it, convincing herself that her night with Nathan was just innocent fun, not infidelity. It's just one evening of excitement, she thought. James will get over it. Tomorrow, I'll smooth things over. He can never stay upset with me. I know exactly how to bring him back around. When Friday night arrived, Emily came back to an empty house. For a moment, she thought about canceling her plans, maybe reaching out to me to return. But the allure of an exciting night out was too powerful. She pressed forward. After a long, soothing bath, she shaved her legs and applied her favorite scented cream. At her vanity, she meticulously did her makeup, turning herself into a picture of alluring sophistication. She styled her long hair, admiring her reflection. Then, she slipped into a bold, new dress, removing the tags with a smile, pairing it with stockings and a garter belt she'd purchased that day, items she'd never considered wearing for. As she fastened the garter clips, a brief wave of guilt hit her, recalling the time I'd given her lingerie for Valentine's Day, which she'd rejected, accusing me of objectifying her. Now, here she was, dressing provocatively, but not for her husband. The guilt flared again, but was quickly suppressed. "This is for me," she reassured herself, brushing off any lingering unease. Once ready, she stood before the full-length mirror, admiring herself in sheer stockings and heels. The silk dress clung to her curves, accentuating her figure in a way she knew would turn heads. "God, I look so young," she thought, grinning. "This is going to be a blast. I can't wait to see Nathan's reaction." She told herself it was just a simple night of dinner, drinks, and dancing, nothing more. But deep down, her excitement surged, overtaking her thoughts. Despite my reaction, which she saw as overly dramatic, she was determined to enjoy herself. She was certain I'd forgive her, as I always had, and grant her this moment of indulgence. After all, don't I always let her have her way? Just as she was about to head out, my call came through. It was my final attempt to save our marriage and stop Emily from making a terrible mistake. Swallowing my pride, I dialed her number, prepared to plead, even if it meant humbling myself. Saving our relationship mattered more than anything. When Emily saw James flash on her phone, she felt a mix of guilt and annoyance. Part of her longed to hear my voice. She answered, forcing a cheerful tone. "James, I'm so glad you called. I miss you terribly and love you more than anything. When are you coming home, honey?" My voice was heavy with emotion. "Emily, I love you too, and that's why I'm reaching out. My heart is breaking over what you're about to do. I'm begging you, don't go through with this. Stay home. I'll come back, and we can work through whatever's wrong. I'll be whatever you. Just tell me what you want, and I'll make it happen. Please cancel this date. Don't throw our life away." Hearing the quiver in my voice, Emily felt a twinge of sympathy, but also a surge of control. My vulnerability reminded her how deeply I loved her and how much power she held. She knew I'd forgive her no matter what. "James," she said gently, "I love you so much, and I can't wait to spend forever with you, but I need this tonight. It's not about us, it's about me. Just one night to be spontaneous, to do something for myself. You're making this bigger than it is. It's just dinner and a few drinks with a friend. Nothing will happen. Tomorrow, I'll be home, and everything will be fine. Please understand, and let me have this moment." My voice wavered as I made one final plea. "Emily, I'm begging you, please don't do this." But she hardened her resolve, unyielding. "I love you, James, but I need to go," she said firmly. She hung up abruptly, her hands shaking slightly as tears brimmed in her eyes. She brushed them away, careful not to smudge her makeup, and murmured, "He'll forgive me. He always has." Meanwhile, I sat on the edge of the hotel bed, staring at my phone, anger boiling inside me. The call with Emily had left me more broken than ever, my heart in fragments. Across from our house, Michael, the private investigator, was stationed in his unmarked van, parked discreetly. Around 5 p.m., he watched Emily pull into the driveway. An hour later, another car arrived. Michael jotted down the license plate, made a few quick calls, and within minutes had all the details. By the time Emily and Nathan left the house, my brother, Daniel, and I had Nathan's address, phone number, full background. Inside Emily's home, Nathan picked up on her mixed emotions: nervousness, guilt, and hesitation. Skilled at manipulating uncertain women, Nathan didn't hesitate to use his charm. "Emily, it's okay," he said gently, his tone warm and reassuring. "We can call this off if you're not sure. I get it if you're feeling torn. Your husband's just trying to keep you safe from guys like me." He let out a calculated sigh. "If only he knew how much I value you as a friend." Sensing her wavering, Nathan pushed further. "How about we just have dinner? Nothing more. Just two friends enjoying a meal. I'll bring you back afterward. No strings attached." His words eased her doubts. She told herself it was just a meal, nothing improper, and besides, she was already dressed for the occasion. By 7 p.m., they were headed to a chic downtown restaurant. Michael trailed them, recording every step. His updates reached Daniel and me in real time. Over the next 4 hours, Michael documented everything. Photos of Emily and Nathan holding hands as they entered a nightclub. Videos of them dancing closely, their lips meeting, Nathan's hands wandering over her body as they moved together. His touches grew bolder, lingering on her hips, grazing her chest, venturing further. By dawn, Michael had sent a complete file of evidence. At 8 p.m. sharp, I dialed Thomas, a man I'd once called a close friend. "Thomas," he answered, his voice upbeat. "I'm not sure, Thomas," I responded, steadying myself. "Your daughter's out with a coworker tonight. I thought our marriage was rock solid, but she said she needed something more. I'm telling you because I respect you and Sarah, but I can't forgive this. She's violated our prenup, and as far as I'm concerned, our marriage is done." Thomas sounded shocked. "Are you sure, James? That doesn't sound like Emily." "I'm certain," I replied. "I've got an investigator watching them right now. I've seen the photos and videos. She's betrayed me, our marriage, and our daughters. I wanted you to hear it from me. I'm so sorry, James. Don't do anything hasty. There might still be a way to fix this." "I'm done," I said. "I'm sorry. I'll call you later." I hung up, feeling a mix of sorrow and relief, knowing I'd taken a step toward resolution. With Nathan's address in hand, I drove 20 minutes to confront his wife. When Laura opened the door, she wore fitted jeans and a delicate blouse that highlighted her figure. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay composed. "Are you Mrs. Carter?" I asked, my voice even. "Yes," she replied, confused. "Is something wrong? Can I come in for a moment?" I asked. Inside, I shared the devastating truth. "Your husband is out with my wife tonight. I have photos and videos to back it up." Laura's face drained of color. "Are you sure?" "Nathan always works late on Fridays. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't certain," I said grimly. "My investigator is tracking them as we speak. I thought you deserved to know." Leaving Laura in tears, I returned to my hotel. I tried to unwind with a specialty coffee, but calm was out of reach. I opened Michael's files. Images of Emily kissing Nathan, letting his hands roam freely. The stockings she wore, the ones I'd bought her months ago, which she'd refused to wear for me, felt like the ultimate betrayal. The pain was excruciating. I yelled into the empty room, "You'll regret this." By Saturday afternoon, I was ready to execute my personal plan. I met Isabella, a beautiful young woman I'd arranged through the service, and spent 2 hours with her. She was everything I'd asked for, attentive, and perfectly playing her part. We returned to the house just after 4 p.m. By 5, Isabella and I were in bed. Before joining her, I left a note for Emily on the front door. "Emily, last night you shattered the sacred vows of our marriage and broke my heart. By doing so, you nullified our marriage contract. Legally, we're still bound, but our relationship is over. I'll be staying in the master bedroom. Your things have been moved to the guest room. You wanted freedom, now you have it. Love, your former husband, James." Below the note, I left my wedding ring. Using one of my prized knives, I sliced through the letter and the ring before driving the blade into the door's wood. It would be the first thing Emily saw when she returned. When Emily arrived home at 6:10 p.m., the knife embedded in the door froze her in place. A chill ran through her, dread settling in. She cautiously approached, checking her surroundings for anything amiss. Her gaze landed on the note and the ruined ring. Her hands shook as tears streamed down her face, clutching the items tightly. Stumbling inside, she called out for me, her voice breaking. Her cries echoed through the empty hallway. Hearing faint noises from upstairs, she followed them, pressing her ear to the bedroom. The sounds became unmistakable. Flinging the door open, she saw Isabella entwined with me in the sheets. Emily stood paralyzed, shock giving way to rage. "How could you, monster?" she screamed before fleeing, driving straight to her sister Sarah's house. At Sarah's, Emily collapsed, spilling everything through sobs. I caught James in bed with another woman. "I don't know where to turn," she wept. Sarah listened with empathy, but was stunned. "James has always been loyal to you. Is there more to this? What triggered this?" Through her tears, Emily confessed. "I went out last night, just dinner and some dancing, Nothing more. Sarah's expression tightened. You left your husband alone while you went out with another man? Are you kidding? Emily tried to justify it, but Sarah shook her head. You jeopardized your marriage for selfish reasons. I'll reach out to James to see if he'll talk, but don't expect miracles. That night, Emily cried herself to sleep in Sarah's guest room, barely resting. The next morning, Sarah texted me, asking for a call. I sent her back promptly. Hey, how's it going? I said. I know you're livid, and I get it, Sarah replied. Emily's a wreck. Maybe you two should sit down and talk. I gave a bitter laugh. She's welcome to come back and talk, but forgiveness won't come easily. Right now, I hate her as much as I once loved her. Sarah sighed. I hear you. Just give it time. She promised to pass the message to Emily. That Sunday afternoon, I came home from the gym to find Emily at the kitchen table, trying to seem calm. We're not getting divorced, she said with a strained smile. We can fix this because we love each other. I poured a coffee and sat across from her, silent. After a few sips, I spoke. Emily, I've accepted whatever comes, divorce or not. You destroyed the trust in our marriage, and I can't see us as partners anymore. You won't share my bed again. Emily's face fell. Nothing happened with Nathan. He's not my lover. You went out with another man, I said coldly. You dressed up for him, dined, danced, let him touch you, kissed him. That ended our marriage. I'll make it right, she pleaded. I swear I'll win you back. I shook my head. Therapy is your only shot. If you go, I might stay. Is not, we'll live as roommates, where you can file for divorce. Over the next 3 months, we attended counseling with Dr. Thompson. The sessions were brutal. I had to relive Emily's betrayal over and over, and she struggled to confront the pain she'd inflicted. She grumbled about my retaliation, but I reminded her, you violated our prenup. You lost her rights. Eventually, we reached a deal. Emily signed a post-nuptial agreement, forfeiting everything if she ever strayed again. She also gave me access to her phone, email, and texts, and agreed to wear a GPS tracker. It was humiliating, but she accepted it as atonement. Still, Laura's words lingered in my mind. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Though life gradually normalized, I kept a close watch on Emily. Her sister Sarah helped ensure she stayed in line. As for Nathan, his world collapsed. Laura divorced him, taking the house and securing alimony and child support for their 3 kids. Nathan ended up in a cramped studio, a hollow version of his former self. What an idiot, I saw him bitterly. Emily, humiliated by Nathan's track record, realized how close she'd come to ruining her family. The fallout was a stark reminder of betrayal's price. She swore never to repeat the mistake, though she could never undo the damage. 2 years later, I still bore the wounds of Emily's actions. Not one scar on my heart came from an enemy. I reflected grimly. They all came from those who claimed to love me. On a Thursday evening, after 2 decades of marriage, my 41-year-old wife, Emily, shocked me. She planned a date with a coworker. We married young, swept up in a passionate romance that gave us 2 daughters, Sophia and Olivia. I'd built a successful landscaping business to provide us a comfortable life. Yet Emily admitted she'd been feeling hollow and depressed since the girls left for college. Worse, she'd confided in Nathan, a married accountant known for targeting vulnerable women, and now wanted a night with her. Cold, unapologetic confession hit me like a blow. I grabbed my whiskey, said nothing, and left. Checked into the Ritz-Carlton, blocked her calls, and hired my brother's PI, Michael, to track her. At the same time, I arranged for Isabella, an escort, to mirror her actions. If she could chase her desires, so could I. On Friday night, Emily slipped into seductive lingerie, convincing herself it was just innocent fun, and left the house. I made one final call, my voice trembling as I pleaded for her to stay, but she replied firmly, I love you, James, but I have to do this. Meanwhile, Michael captured every detail, their hands clasped, their bodies swaying in a dance, their lips meeting, proof I'd later share with Nathan's wife, Nira, unraveling his world as well. By Saturday afternoon, I returned home with Isabella. On the front door, I pinned a crimson note. Our marriage vows were broken. She could take the guest room, and I carved my wedding ring into the wood with a knife. Inside, Emily found us in bed. Her cry, "How dare you?" rang out as she stormed off to her sister Sarah's house. Over the following months, we coexisted as strangers, separate bedrooms, no shared mornings, just cold civility. Emily founded a nonprofit for women's mental health, while I grew my landscaping empire globally. Life's milestones, our daughters' graduations, awards, and conferences, passed with quiet glances and curt nods. On our 22nd anniversary, sifting through old keepsakes, I found my grandmother's words. Love blossoms, fades, and must be replanted. That night, over dinner, I suggested we end our stalemate. Emily nodded softly in agreement. With a mediator's help, we split our assets, negotiated custody of our cat, whiskers, and finalized our separation. 2 days later, we met at the cafe where we'd had our first date. In a way, this is a celebration, I said. We raised our glasses to closure and to new chapters under a vibrant blue sky. When I gathered the last of my belongings from our now empty home, I poured a final whiskey, murmured, "To brighter days," and shut the door on a marriage that taught me the steep price of betrayal. In the end, my liberation